Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Deviljho is coming. So today, I've put together this cookie cutter template armor to use with whatever weapon I decide I'm going to fight him with, and farm him out for a while. It's ugly as sin, because all mixed sets are. If you have the samurai overlay, you could try to use it. But let's take a look at its abilities. So first and foremost, I want to mention I'm not wearing a charm. I've left that blank and both those slots on the headgear so you can kind of have a little bit of flexibility. The first thing I wanted to get was earplugs. His roars aren't terribly a problem, and usually a single monster isn't. The problem is he always has friends, or food, whatever you want to call it. Either way, earplugs, because I don't want some asshole flying behind me, roaring me in place, while he decides to do his dragon breath. That being said, this armor does not have good dragon resistance. I don't ever gem in the defense, elemental defense, or any of that kind of stuff. I'd rather just not get hit by it. I pretty much assume if it's going to hit me, it's going to kill me. So, I put on Iron Skin. That skill will stop his defense down drool. I don't know how it's going to work in this. Maybe I'll do a follow-up if he's not using it or whatever. But before, even if he didn't attack you, you just were under his mouth at the wrong time, you would end up with this defense down ability. The Iron Skin will prevent that, which will also help stop you from getting one-shotted. Speaking of one-shotted, though, tremor resistance. He stomps the ground a lot. I expect him to do a lot more leaping attacks, kind of like Anjanath will do when you're far away. The tremor resistance will be a huge help, especially because this game has the worst tremor effect, where you're just wobbling around for about 30 seconds, even though the tremor is over. You just can't seem to figure out how to stand up again. That should deal with that crap. And then, of course, weakness exploit, because every good set has weakness exploit. There are better ways to go about getting it than what I've done, but I wanted to make this as easy to get for decorations as possible. I know a lot of people haven't had a chance to sink as much time as me, so here we are. Now, give me a second, and I'm going to set it up with decorations for a couple different sets of gear, and give you an idea what I'm going to go for. Okay, so first up is the Charge Blade, as you've already seen. For this set, I decided to equip the Artillery Charm for level 3 artillery, slot in my magazine jewel, which I know is a little hard to get, but if you don't have it, put in Part Breaker or absolutely anything, because it's a level 3 slot. And I put in 2 Drain Jewels. The magazine jewel could easily be switched out for one of them. Deviljho has a habit of getting hungry fast. You bring some of the bait foods, like the sleep one or the poisoned meat, whatever you got, and couple it with these drain jewels, all your file attacks will exhaust the monster faster, because it is an impact file, and cause him to eat that stuff more frequently. That's my mindset going into it. So this is my Charge Blade setup that I'm probably going to run. Next up, hammer. There's only really one good hammer to use, and that's the Diablo's. So I slotted in the Elementless Jewel, just to give me that extra damage bonus. A Fortitude, really just because I tend to get overzealous, and I only have one level 1 slot open, so if I screw up, I get a bonus out of it. And the Sharp Jewel, to help keep the sharpness of this thing in check. That said, I've also added in the Handicraft 3 charm to give it that extra chunk of blue, so I don't have to deal with the constant sharpening. But pretty straightforward. That's hammer. Next, So here we go with a lance setup. It's pretty straightforward what I'm going for here. I added in the shield jewel because I'm not sure what of his attacks will be blockable, what won't. I probably shouldn't use this. I should just put in a brace, which, now that I'm thinking, that is exactly what I'm going to do. Brace. Add a point of flinch free just in case, though. If you're playing with anyone else, you don't have to worry about them hitting you in the back and dropping your guard. I've added the Ironside charm for guard level 3. Little bit extra with recovery speed level 2 to help get back some of that chip damage you're going to be taking. But basically, with earplugs and tremor resistance, even if you're not blocking, you should just be able to stick to this guy constantly. There's really not going to be anything to worry about. Just keep poking him in the belly. Here, we have my bow set. Now, normally, Deviljho is weak to dragon and thunder damage, usually equally. I can't say for certain that's going to be the case here, but I can say the Valhazak bow is one of my favorites. This set probably has the hardest to get decorations. Obviously, if you don't have these, change accordingly. I'm using the spread 3 jewel that I just got about an hour before making this. A dragon resistance jewel because I wasn't paying attention and I meant to put in dragon attack, so there you go. I figured just one of them for a little bump in damage. And of course the mighty bow jewel, which if you actually play bow regularly, you probably don't have. Again, fill the slots with what you can. I recommend more constitution, which is why I'm using the fitness charm here, because every point in constitution makes a huge difference. I just butchered my pronunciation of that word, but I'm not re-recording this. So lastly, we have the weapon I've been maining through most of the game, the light bow gun. This one happens to be one of my favorites. It's the Xenojiva. It can use level 2 of every status effect and level 3 of every ammo. I of course prefer the spread, so I've slotted in the spread jewel. Also, it's the only jewel I have for any of the raw ammo. So there it is. I would like to have a special ammo boost. I haven't been able to get it, so I put in a paralyzer jewel. I figure if I'm playing with other people, the more easily I can paralyze him, the better. Also for playing with other people, I put in a brace level 1. This way, if we get a knockdown or anything of that sort, I can slide in and drop my mines next to its face while the hammer user goes to town. And just for the sheer damage of it all, maximum might. That is the charm I decided to use, and I popped in 1 decoration to get it up to level 3. Okay, so since this whole video was put together before Deviljho is actually available, I can't show any gameplay or anything of that sort against him, so there will probably be follow-ups. I could keep going and show you a build for each weapon, but I'd be here forever. So there's 5 different weapon types. Leave a comment, let me know if you want to see something else. Let me know what you'd like to see more of. Please like, subscribe, whatever. Have a good one.